different nachos.
Hello, you're listening and or watching the Internet Edification Hour. I'm Caleb.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Jeremy.
And look, Rachel's back, everybody.
Yay!
Hooray!
Rachel was missing?
I was invisible. Trade secret.
I just ignored
She was
her.
here
Anyways.
the whole time, apparently.
Yeah.
So, what do we got on today's schedule? Well, we have some interesting entertainment news, a bunch of movie stuff, and then we'll have your Nintendo news later on, a bunch of Pokemon stuff, as per usual,
Bunch of Pokemon.
since Pokemon
Big
Go
surprise.
came out. Yeah,
You know,
really.
It only made Nintendo worth more than Sony now. Financially, actually, yes. But anyways, moving on.
Nerd vocab after that, and then we have little tiny itty bitty bit of video game news. Not a whole lot.
Well, in the end of an era, which, well, people my age will actually understand what this. Everyone else is like, what's a what? And I'll explain
Well,
later.
yeah, we'll get to that at the technology news portion
at
of
the
that
end.
section.
At the end of its life, too.
So, Rachel, since you're back after such a good while away, what's going on with Legendary Pictures?
Legendary Pictures has announced that it has acquired the film rights to Pokemon and will begin production on a Detective Pikachu film next year. So, according to Hollywood Reporter, the plot details, character details, stuff like that hasn't exactly been revealed quite yet. But Legendary hopes to start production in 2017. So, we'll see. Universal Pictures is going to distribute the film internationally, except in Japan, where it is going to be distributed by Toho Pictures.
Which, if you've watched the show for a while, you might remember we did talk about Detective Pikachu coming out in Japan, and
Then never showing up here.
they never came here at all.
That's just
We've
how
never
the
heard
ball
anything.
rolls, or how the Pokeball bounces.
And we last show, me and Jeremy, we talked about Legendary Pictures saying, "Hey, we're gonna make a Pokemon movie," and we're like, they're the people who made the World of Warcraft movie, so it'd be kind of interesting to see how that would work out.
I was right, by the way. For some of the places, they were giving away subscriptions or special items when they showed World of Warcraft. I called it!
But did the screen go to black and a window appear saying, "You've been disconnected from the server, please try again"?
Movie won't start. Your graphic card is not compatible.
That would have been hilarious, first off.
Your reality graphics card is not compatible.
So, Jeremy,
Did you have to stay on different servers? It was like everyone just watches the movie in one theater, they fight each other in the other one?
Here's the thing. I think depending on which company owns the movie theater, they each had their own server.
Oh, okay. So, I mean, it's PvE or PvP,
Yeah.
the movie,
Exactly.
You fight for your popcorn, you take someone else's.
Yeah.
All right.
So, Jeremy, since you're more familiar with statues and collectibles and stuff like that, why don't you
I'm also closer in age to when this came out. So Captain America's statue is going to be celebrating the hero's 75th anniversary.
He's an old man!
Doing pretty good for his age. After Comic-Con, Bronze Steve will travel east across the country with Marvel documenting his journeys on social media before settling in his hometown of Brooklyn on August 10th.
Wow.
So we're getting an actual full-size, really big statue.
It's a statue. It's kind of like this. He's holding up a
huge.
shield.
Huge.
I can't remember the quote on the statue, though. It was something.
Quietly later, I'm actually a Hydra? I don't know.
No.
Spoiler
That was
alert!
it.
Well, I mean, if they
in-
want to ruin the dream, go for the statue, too. So.
Spoiler alert. But, yeah.
That's fine.
That's going to be kind of
So
cool.
Caleb is the only neutral party in this argument. What's up with Ghostbusters?
Well, apparently the Ghostbusters sequel will happen, says Sony distribution chief. Now, I have no gripes about Ghostbusters. I haven't really seen it. I don't really have a desire to see it. I'm sure it's a good film. Rachel says it's a good film.
I
Jeremy
enjoyed it.
is enjoying the haterade.
No, I'm not saying haterade. A lot of what I've seen is kind of average. I will eventually go see it. I'm still a little annoyed with the way they kind of went about it for some of it, but
It was enjoyable. It had some good, my spoiler-free review, it had some good comedic timing in there. The effects were really good. Lots of calls to the older stuff. Cameos. There were cameos. I don't want to spoil it, but everybody but Rick Moranis had a cameo in it for obvious reasons because he just doesn't act anymore.
Yeah.
I bet they tried to convince him, but they
And
just
Harold Ramis.
couldn't. Mhm. Well, yes, but that's because
that hasn't stopped some of these movies.
that's true. That's true. But they did manage to cameo him. He's at the very beginning. Look for him in the college. That's all I'm saying. But it was a good film. I saw it with my mom over the weekend, and it was enjoyable, and we laughed a whole lot.
And apparently the critics say, yeah, it's pretty.
Yeah, it's been kind of back and forth. I'm not saying it was a bad film. So the issue I had with it was when people were bringing up, like, hey, you're treading heavily on, like, you know, even their trailers are starting off, like, you know, referencing the old movie and stuff like that, and they had no connection to it. And I know, yeah, some people came out and they were jerks about it, but some people are like, you know, we legitimately just don't like this. Like the Angry Video Game Nerd, he came out and he was very, very concise. Why he didn't want to see it, the reasons for it. It wasn't rude at all.
From a marketing standpoint, what they did was smart. They used what people know.
It's not so much that. It's when the director and them came out and were like, well, they straight up, if you're not liking this, you're being misogynistic and all this stuff. And everyone's like, we have legitimate reasons. We're not really liking what you're showing us. It's not really fair to just flip it back and just be like, oh, okay, if you don't like it, you're this. And it's one thing if it's, you know, people defending it, but when it's coming from the director and some of the cast, you're like, really, why do I want to see your movie now if you're automatically going to assume anything I'm iffy about is that's the reason? I don't care that it's an all-women cast. I saw Spy. That was the last movie I saw with McCarthy, and that was actually really funny. I actually really enjoyed it.
It's really funny, and then it has that same type of humor. And what's really interesting, my favorite character, God, what was her name? The blonde one.
Yeah, a lot of people liked her. That's what I've heard good things about.
Like, spot on with everything. And
the stuff with Patty, people were kind of like, you know, how they treated Winston in the original one was kind of an everyman. This one, they're kind of like, they're really playing up like the racial side of it, and some of the jokes seems a little, the way they're doing it, and some of their acting.
They're on some end, yes. The one thing that is in the trailer that's actually in the film, and a lot of it that you see in the trailer, it is a lot better when you have context. That a lot of people were displeased with how the trailer was and all that kind of stuff, and it improves when you actually have the context of it, like the whole thing where I wasn't sure if it was a lady thing or a race thing.
Well, not even that. They were some of the things they were talking about was way back. It was kind of stereotypical back in the early days of Hollywood. They would have African Americans in the films like freaking out about ghosts and the way they talk, and then they actually had her do that for part of it. Is what they were, some of her lines, and people were kind of like, really, we're going back to that? Like,
I'm just saying it improves with context. A lot of the stuff that people are referencing and stuff kind of disappears and dissipates, and you don't exactly notice it in that way when you have context. Context is everything when it comes to this kind of thing. So, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the references to the older films. It was actually very kind of nice. It was almost honoring it in a way, and I appreciated that when I saw it. I was like, oh, that's good. It wasn't making fun of it in any way. It wasn't trying to like beat it into the ground and say, no, this is how we're doing it now. It honored it, so I thought it was great. So, but I don't know what the sequel will be, but it'll be cool.
Probably involve them controlling the Statue of Liberty with a NES advantage and using slime some way.
Well, there was slime, but there wasn't. There was already slime. It was ectoplasm.
Well, this was the hateful slime.
Yeah.
Probably powered by the internet.
Yeah.
Hate slime. You know what it was?
I guarantee that's what they're going to say.
Oh my gosh, you just plugged
it was the original Haterade.
So, Star Trek is getting a fourth film now. just
Already? Didn't is it even out yet, or it's out in a few days?
No, it hasn't.
No, that's the third one.
Yet. Oh,
fourth one's been announced.
I know. That's what I'm saying. They've announced the fourth one before the third one has even. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, they do that a lot nowadays. But
I'm pleased that Chris Hemsworth will be in this one.
Yeah, he's returning for that. So we'll kind of see how that goes.
Yeah.
But yeah, no word on exactly what they're doing. They did announce the CBS show that they're starting. They are going back to the original series, not the original universe, not the new movie one. They're going back because they still own the rights to that for TV. And Netflix has said the day after it airs, they will have it.
Yep, Netflix has licensing to a lot of stuff right now.
Thank you, Netflix, for not having me have to sign up for another service.
The only downside to specifically Netflix's deal with CW, the deal is 7 days after, like a week after the final episode of that particular season airs, you get all of them on Netflix. The only downside is you can't watch them just a few days after they air unless you are viewing it on like the on-demand services that your TV has.
They tried doing that with like Heroes and stuff like that, and it worked okay. But then a lot of the TV companies were giving them a lot of crap back and forth about it, and it ended up being such a mess because I know like The Flash season 2 is already up on Netflix.
It's not yet. The deal, no.
I thought it was 7 days after because that would have been
that
already.
deal does not go into effect until September.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought most of it was on there.
Yeah, no, just season 1 of Flash is on there, and a couple of seasons of Arrow, of course. But
Right.
that sort of thing, those deals that they have at September and come up in September, it's the CW deal, it's all the other deals that they have like Disney. Those go into effect in September. So,
Which is kind of funny. That means Netflix will actually be better home for all of Marvel and most of the good stuff from DC.
Yep, it's gonna be cool.
So it'll be interesting to see.
So let's
that
talk about these
new
Pokemans.
Pokemans.
There's so much
Well,
stuff going
before
on.
we get on to Pokemans, just one thing. Speaking of Haterade, the Metroid Prime Blast Ball demo is actually out for your 3DS, so you can go and
I'll
check
download
that
that.
out.
Mine is on display.
Does yours play it? Is that the question?
Well, there's enough on there. It should.
It's made to play on the old
not
ones
for the
on the new one.
it's not for the new 3DS. It's for the.
I know, but
So you're rocking your circle pad. Good
but
man.
there's been some problems with some games not running at optimum settings.
Hyrule
We're talking
Legends.
about-
Legends,
we're
so.
talking about Hyrule Legends.
Oh,
That's
I know, but you never know until you try to play something and then you notice, oh my gosh, it's chugging
I mean, it
along.
runs okay. It's just only.
Terraria is
sometimes
the
it
same way.
It's 15.
Brent was playing it, and he's like, man, this game plays all right. And he saw it on mine. He's like, holy crap, mine runs bad. Like, I just thought his limitation is just, wow.
Okay, so
All right, now
All right.
we can move on to Pokemon.
Pokemon Go. It's the newest thing. It's getting people outside, out of their homes, out walking, out exercising, out having fun with friends, but it's also causing problems.
I hit level 19.
I have not played
I'm
it
still
too
level
much.
10.
I
I've
played
taken over
occasionally.
so many gyms.
So
right.
Pokemon Go could land you in court, but not protect you from it.
Yeah, for those who like to trespass, Jeremy. I'm just
I
kidding.
don't trespass anymore. This is... Go ahead. There's
So
some other
basically,
supplies.
Professor Sean G. Jamison of Kaplan University spoke to Polygon about the legal repercussions Pokemon Go fanatics could face if they get overzealous and they're going about visiting Pokestops or catching Pokemon, and they just happen to wander in a restricted area or something like that. That will not excuse you from court. They will not be an excuse in court.
Well, here's
So
what's important to
That-
those of you
that's-
playing.
that's, you know.
To those of you playing Pokemon Go, there is a little advertisement thing that is on the loading screen. It's not an advertisement. It's just
It's
pay
a pay
attention
attention.
to your surroundings.
Yep.
Do not sit there with your face in the phone, looking at Pokemon when you should be also looking around at where you're going.
Yep.
Because otherwise, you will hit a car
honestly, you don't
or
even
hit
need
a
to-
police car, like someone did earlier this week.
Ugh.
That guy was an idiot.
You don't even need to look at your phone and walk. You mean your phone vibrates whenever there's
Yeah,
a Pokemon
it makes
nearby,
a sound.
So,
Glance at it, if
Yeah.
anything. Just
like, yeah, if
give it
anything,
a
like,
glance.
okay, you know,
Basically,
But pay attention.
anything that takes you outside that has you doing stuff, be it geocaching, their old game Ingress, and some of these other titles like that, you're responsible for where you go. If you're not supposed to be there, that doesn't grant you the ability to go, regardless of what it says where it's
Right.
at. Because they're talking about, they're trying to cover an entire globe with different coordinates for how these things work. They're not going to pinpoint every spot you're not supposed to be. That's up to you.
yeah.
Now, there has been some, positive stuff that has come from this, other than, it's getting people out and active.
Multiple corpses found.
Yes, cold cases
Multiple.
may have been close. Lives have been saved. Like,
Yeah.
a guy had collapsed near a bench where
He'd
people were
overdosed.
walking. He overdosed,
Yeah.
and they were able to resuscitate him and call the...
A lot of found abandoned pets.
Yes.
Like a lot of
Aw.
like kittens,
Yes.
puppies, and abandoned pets have been found.
And
So
it's
I
also
found the
helped.
kitten Pokemon
It's also
Go.
helped people with social anxiety
Yep.
and other developmental
helped me.
disorders. And health has been improved, all that kind of stuff. But here's a cool business side. A lot of businesses that are Pokestops, what they'll do is they'll a restaurant will have a come in during this time. We've placed a lure module on our Pokestop. Come in for drinks and appetizers and stuff like that. So it's actually very smart business wise. And people are holding contests that are based off it. There's one that's near Visit Panama City in downtown St. Andrews and all around the
marina.
The marina and
Everybody
stuff.
says the marina is like
the
place to
marina,
go.
the
Both
down
marinas are
Panama,
really good.
yeah, Panama City Marina. Literally the other night, there was like 100 people there near that fountain thing because it was a gym or a Pokestop or something. And a friend of mine's family owns a food truck, and I said, "Y'all gotta get down there because there's some hungry
We've looked
people."
into that. They will arrest you for that.
Really?
Yeah, because we were like, well, because John, we're trying to get, he's going back to space camp again, and we tried to look in for even just getting a permit for him to be able to just sell bottles of water or something, in the spacesuit while we're doing it, because we're running around doing that. And
Well,
they're
food
like,
trucks-
yeah, they won't allow you to do any of it without a special thing, food truck or not.
Food trucks can stop Well, they can stop in authorized locations, and near the marina is an authorized location. So
Yeah, because we called, they were like, they're not allowing anyone to do anything. That's why there hasn't been any food trucks in any of the spots. No one's been going there selling stuff. If it's an existing business downtown, you can, but they won't let you go down there because they consider it conflicting with existing businesses.
Well, like the food trucks.
There's
that
other
have-
spots they can,
Yeah,
but like
yeah,
it's the same thing like here at the college. A food truck can't come here; they have to park across
No, they have
the
to park
street.
across the street.
Right.
And so there's a park right there that food trucks can stop at.
Right.
So there you go. So as long as you're nearby,
But for
businesses
the
can-
marina, for
yeah.
that downtown area, though, it's like that whole area.
Oh, yeah.
Like you can't. That's a large area to walk if someone can't.
So,
Yeah.
Rachel, you should have been here last week. And then, was it last week, the Pokemon event?
Oh,
Yeah.
well, yeah.
Yeah, that was, we got
was-
20 different
yeah.
spots on here, and they were all
Like you
lured
said,
up. It was like crazy.
Food trucks can make a big bit of money, and I know in other cities that they're making a good bit of money using this thing because
Yeah.
they're near where
Panama
people
City's
are
not real
walking.
bright about it, though.
Well,
Yeah.
like
They're
I
not.
said, there are places that food trucks can stop that Pokestops are nearby too. So.
Yeah. But for the large masses of people, though, that's still a good distance from them. They're keeping anyone from going out there to that area.
That's so stupid.
I know. I agree.
Like, I don't know why they would stop people from making revenue for
because
our area.
there's like two little restaurants or little buildings that are down there at the end of the marina,
yes,
plus
that
the ones
no
up there.
one goes to because when all this stuff people are down there, they're not open or they're already
they're
at
not-
peak
they-
hours.
They're still
so it doesn't.
considering
They
it
close
their
at 1
area,
o'clock.
so they
Yeah, it doesn't benefit them, so it shouldn't
They
matter.
close at 1 o'clock.
I think all of those ordinances and stuff like that should be time dependent. After a certain time, it doesn't matter. So, but yeah,
All right.
All right.
more Pokemon news.
This one's mine.
Yeah.
All right. So this is very important to us breeders, I'm going to say. So, okay. In Pokemon Sun and Moon, there will now be a new kind of training called hyper training, which will help Pokemon with their individual stats or IVs. I'm gonna just hang on to your helmets.
I'm picturing a
Just-
Pokemon in a hospital with an IV.
Intravenous?
No.
Yeah.
Individual value is what
I
they
choose
call
you,
it.
Needle Pokemon. Go!
So,
And it's shaped like a butterfly.
so what IVs are? They're individual values. They
Nice.
are basically given to Pokemon when they are either
Little
caught
curl out.
or when they are born. So a lot of basically it's kind of like genes. So you have this one Pokemon that gets up to like 31 HP IVs, right? Like, okay, I want a bulky Pokemon, so I'm going to have it breed with this, and I'm going to give their IVs to them. So that's what this breeding gets into. Then you have to hatch the
I never
eggs.
went this
This
far.
is too advanced.
I
for
know,
me.
this
I
is
never
too
went that
advanced.
far. I was like, ooh, I got a Pokemon.
But
Yeah.
see, I'm
Done.
going to stop it right there because I know I'm losing people. But you don't have to do the breeding thing anymore. You can kind of adjust their individual values based on this hyper training.
It's still
Which I think will-
complicated to me. That's still complicated.
But
So
it's
we've
pretty
gone from
cool.
dog breeding to basically
Here's
Olympic
an
juicing.
anagram that everyone should know. An anagram that everyone should know. KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. I'm just saying.
Well,
I'm just saying.
so now that we can mess with the IVs and the EVs as well. So it basically frees up a lot of time, which I'm pretty excited about because I know I just get bored of hatching hundreds and hundreds of eggs and having my box fill up. So that's pretty cool.
And there's more new Pokemon, including
Yep.
one of my favorites.
Continue the
which is so
Pokemon because I
cute.
know you're going to keep going.
Go ahead.
More new Pokemon. Wimpod is a trilobite-looking Mon, and his ability is Wimp Out, which acts like teleport for Abra.
He gets scared and teleports away.
He does.
That's aggravating.
So yeah, he just went. So yeah, it'll probably be a lot of people being frustrated, like I almost caught this Wimpod and it ran away. Darn
There's
it!
going to be a lot of dang it going on.
There's Bound Sweet, which is a cherry-looking Mon, and it kind of looks like Cherim. Cherim is the cherry kind of thing. So it kind of looks like a cherry, but it has like a little.
More food Pokemon.
Ants.
How many small
Back at
children are just
11.
like terrified to eat any snack you've given to them? They're like, eat these cherries. No.
I can't eat ice cream.
Okay. So Comfy is literally flower necklaces. Oh, so
Yep.
it's a lei?
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
lei.
I like that.
It's a little flower
And-
necklace.
Just to, if Hawaii is not enough in your face, lay.
But here's one that doesn't fit at all. Mudsdale. Why is it Clydesdale? I don't know. And why?
It's a Clydesdale horse with dreadlocks.
Hey, it's a new horse.
And it has the ability to stay on it, raise its defense every time it gets hit, which is pretty bulky.
And then my personal favorite,
Mimikyu.
which is so
It's so
cute.
cute.
It can mimic other Pokemon. Like
And,
it wants to be Pikachu real
depressingly.
bad. Out of it looks like a trash bag.
Yeah,
It's
Did you see the
wonderful.
comic where, like, in the end of it, they're like, "Oh, we love you. You're the best one." And it's actually like that seal one everyone hated from the opening. It's like, ha ha!
Oh my god.
It's just in a bag and it wins.
and acts like a one-time use substitute. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, so if you watch the video they show, it gets hit, and then Mimikyu's disguise broke, and then the little Pikachu head just goes, and so it just kind of flops over, and it's like, oh, he broke it.
And then apparently there's something called Beware.
Yeah, the Beware, the bear Pokemon. So we talked about Mimikyu and the bear
There's a
Pokemon
bear.
last week.
Another bear.
And
Bear.
I will say its design looks
A
a
bear.
bit weird because it's kind of a simple looking design. It's just a bear with a
Pokemon
pink
looks weird?
head. It's like
That's the first.
I don't know. It's tubey looking. It's
Well-
a tubey looking bear that can kill you.
And here's more Pokemon news. Nintendo broke the stock market records. It probably broke the stock market too, with thanks to the new Pokemon Go thing. According to Bloomberg, Nintendo traded 476 million yen. That's 4.5 billion dollars on Friday alone, which broke the record, which was previously held by an energy company called Tokyo Electric. Nintendo's worth a lot of money right now. If I had known, I had visited my stockbroker 2 weeks before this launched. If I had known, I would have said, please invest in Nintendo. And then I would have been like, bye, y'all.
Well, I mean,
I'm rich.
as of now, they're actually worth more than all of Sony. Mm-hmm. Which is funny because there's still people calling for them to stop making the systems and go third party because they're like, this will never last. It's like every time Nintendo makes money, they just assume, it'll never last. They're going to go third party right away. I'm like, Sony's still having to sell off parts of their company and buildings to keep their head above water, even with the PS4 trying to hold it up. But they're like, no. They'll be fine. Nintendo needs to go away. And I'm like...
Well,
So
Sony's also technically kind of two different companies. Sony's not really Sony anymore.
Sold and still owned.
Sony and then PlayStation. So pretty soon it'll just be PlayStation.
So Nintendo's got to
Yeah.
build more undersea gold vaults.
So...
Yep.
I'm telling you, they got them. I know
Of
they
course.
do.
I mean, that's where all the DuckTales remakes come from. So Nintendo's Tiny NES, we've actually seen a picture comparison now.
He's a little witty baby console. He's
God,
so
she actually did it.
cute.
Okay.
It's adorable. It's like you could just hold it in your
Well, the
hand.
Tiny NES, small enough to fit in your hand. We've seen it before, we couldn't really tell the size of the person. The original NES is about this big.
It's
and
huge.
trust me, I know that from as long as I've had to move that thing.
He's apparently held a lot of.
I've rebuilt many of them too. So the new one is about that big. It's maybe about the size of a cartridge. So yeah, for all
and
those
the
people,
games are built into it?
yes,
Yes.
solid state
It's
flash
like a
memory
play and
inside. There's no internet connection to it. It doesn't. It's just what it is. It's they're not trying to make a new system for all this new services. It's just we're making a tiny NES that people can hook up their TV via HDMI now to play these 30 really good games. All 30 of them are really good. The Pac-Man's okay.
And how much does it cost?
$60 total.
Okay. That is a really good
Here's
deal
the cool
for
thing. Well, the NES controller is 10.
Mm-hmm.
It comes with one. But on top of it, that NES controller, you just unplug it. It's the same port that's on the bottom of a Wii remote. So it already is told it works on the Wii, on the Wii U, and vice versa. So you can use the existing controllers and your new ones back and forth.
Didn't know that. It's
So
pretty
even if
interesting.
you already have all these games, you're like, I've already bought them on the Virtual Console. Why do I want to do this? Go buy a $10 controller and have an actual NES controller and be like, yeah!
Yeah. So it's money making on two sides. A cheaper console for those who don't want to shell out, more than $100 to play, some games. So this would be kind of good, and
Yes.
also a good way to introduce your kids to the classics.
Yeah, without the controller, the hardware, anything, it comes out to about $2 a game. That's without even taking into account hardware, which would be almost $200 if you bought it on Virtual Consoles, all separate titles. But it's also small enough, you can get one of those small HDMI screens, whatever, to hook it into, and you could plug it into a car because
Yeah,
it
very
runs
portable.
off a phone charger,
Yeah.
so you could just put it into a USB port and run it off the 5 volts.
Very
And,
portable.
Yeah.
Really good thing for travel, and if you're, going camping and the kids kind of want to just be in the motorhome for a little while, well,
Yeah.
good things. And then that means you can also play it. It's
they're all hot
portable
and
and
sweaty
play it in a
from-
hotel room. This would be very good for con
Play
trips.
and go.
Yeah.
Yeah, as opposed
Especially
to
because it supports full 2-player, but it's got the original Final Fantasy. That's one of the 30 games. Both Zeldas, all 4
I have given my
Super Mario Brothers games.
my thumbs up approval for
Yep.
this.
It's, it's got a bunch of good ones. I wish it would have had Dragonware.
They might. It doesn't connect to the internet.
It doesn't expand at all. They said the 30 is all it's going to have.
That's it.
That's
Okay.
it.
They might release different editions later on with more stuff.
They could. A lot of people, the way the logo is, it just screams, "Hey, I'm not going to be the last thing." Because it just has a picture. It's the classic red. Now, Nintendo's going to a lot of their old stuff. Like, they brought back Now You're Playing with Power. That's back. My childhood is back.
I remember when Nintendo Power actually utilized that.
Well, they did even before that, though. It's like, now
yeah.
you're playing with Power, know, and now you're playing with Power ... again. That's what they're doing. But, of course, we'll have Superpower, later on if they do the Super Nintendo. But it looks like this will be a series. They could easily swap that graphic out to a Super Nintendo controller and have Super Nintendo Classic, or N64 or whatever they do. And I kind of want that. People are like, I don't know why you want to do the N64. It's like, I don't care what they do. I just want to have that controller compatible with the Wii and the Wii U.
I wouldn't mind
actual N64 controllers.
I wouldn't mind getting an N64 one like that. I think that would be great. My brother would love it, especially if it came with like Super Mario and Banjo-Kazooie.
It won't have Banjo.
Probably not.
But I guarantee.
Unless they shell out some serious coin, which they have.
Which they have now. They have giant gold.
They could, but it comes down to it. They're on Virtual Console, so.
If they have. Gosh, give me a second. I'll remember.
If they do the Super Nintendo, we guarantee they're going to have at least. Super Mario World, Yoshi's Island. They're going to have Legend of Zelda, Super Metroid. If they do the N64, we're going to have...
The Mana game that was on...
Secret of Mana? Mm-hmm. Maybe. That depends on Square. Because they only allowed one game this time, which was Final Fantasy. I think
Square would be into that. They
The problem with that is they're trying to re-release all those on cell phone. They're kind of pushing for cell phone releases.
Don't doubt Square until you've seen how much weird, different, off-the-wall things that they will do that you thought they might not ever do.
True. I'm not arguing. I still have Secret of Mana. It's a beautiful game. I still love playing it. And Secret of Evermore.
I have never gotten a chance to play it all the way through because I can't find an edition.
I have it. We should get together and actually record it because it's 2-player.
Yay!
We could actually play together and play it.
Yes.
Actually, one of them is 3-player. You can join us.
Yeah.
Actually, Secret of Mana was 3-player. It's Evermore that was 2-player. So yeah, we could actually do just a Nerd Edification Secret of Mana playthrough.
Yes, definitely.
This is happening.
We started something.
Anyways, we need to get this. It's $60. Come on. All right.
Exactly.
So a bunch of Tokyo Mirage Session Sharp FE, for once I can remember the name, DLC dropped as of today. Costumes and extra dungeons that can help you level up or master your weapons. People still complaining about censorship, even though reviews have actually been really good about it.
The game is fun. I don't care if it's been censored or whatever. Honestly, I could... so Fairy Tail, I'm looking at you. There is a point where fan service gets kind of annoying. Fairy Tail again, looking at you.
Which apparently is in Monster Hunter.
Yeah,
really?
There's Fairy Tail
There's
stuff.
a wallpaper.
Yes, there is.
I was like...
I just remembered that.
Yes,
there is.
I looked at it, I was like, huh? What is this crap? Moving on.
Yeah, no. There's a happy suit, and then there's a little happy weapon for your...
I didn't know about that. I'm talking about the wallpaper
Did you see the cat thing that's the Link costume? Yep. Okay. But
I'm working towards it.
I will eventually try out Tokyo Mirage Sessions at some point in time. Just not right now.
I'm going to buy it. I meant to buy it, but then I went on a trip and found over $300 worth of really cool retro stuff and blew my money on that.
Well, basically
I need to save my money for my pirate hat for the Pirates of the High Seas Fest.
I still need to save my money to finish paying for Final Fantasy 15.
I'm already covered on that.
That 200-something bucks is coming quick.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, got till end of September.
But basically, Tokyo Mirage Systems is basically Persona, pretty much. It's pretty much.
It looked really nice.
It's really fun, actually. I've actually probably enjoyed it.
I will play it eventually. Just
I thought I would.
Not right now.
But yeah,
so
fun time for everybody.
Yep. Jeremy, what's our nerd vocab?
All right, so the nerd vocab for this week is trilobite, an extinct marine arthropod that occurred abundantly during the Paleozoic era, with a carapace over the forepart and segmented hind part divided longitudinally into 3 lobes. They're basically like
horseshoe
shrimps.
So Wimpod is a horseshoe crab.
Kind of.
Horseshoe crabs are actually the closest living relative to this.
Only a few billion.
And they're actually still living.
Million years apart.
Yeah,
that's what I said, the closest living relative.
Yeah.
They're actually still living. It's pretty interesting.
Creepy looking.
Oh, before we move on to video game news, this kind of fits in. Look.
Yes.
So, as y'all know, I like Overwatch. It's fun. It's a fun game. I actually recently got re-addicted to it, and I'm trying to get away from that.
All my friends are continually playing it nonstop.
It's fun. And in the PC version, they released, they recently had the update, and Ana was in the update. And Diva also got a huge buff. That, I'm
waiting on the console version to get it. I'm still playing Xbox One.
Yeah, no, I don't know when the console version is going to get the update, but if you're on PC, they already got the update.
They'll get it
And-
eventually. Usually updates like that roll out pretty quickly on the other stuff.
With Diva, apparently I main Diva because I've played her the most. I was like, I don't know how that happened,
Oh well.
but it's fun. And instead of having her little matrix, her defense matrix, be the E button, it's now bound to the left click, and you can still do it while you're flying and stuff like that, and it'll recharge, so you can just kind of pop it whenever you want to.
Okay.
So it's just like on a, when you need to use it, which I think is pretty good. And she doesn't die to her explosions anymore.
That's cool.
Yeah, and Anna is actually pretty fun. I'm actually having fun with her. I was like, I didn't think I would actually be good at using her, but I guess I'm kind of okay.
It's the
at
heel
it.
sniper, right?
Yep.
It's so bizarre.
It's so bizarre, but it works. My only thing is her shots don't heal a bunch. Like you have to hit them with your healing grenade and then hit them again because the healing grenade buffs their
I'm so
healing
about Farrah
abilities.
for days. So. How about that, Airborne?
Here's
So
something
Rachel, who
interesting.
told someone to say no? Stop.
Valve, which I'm not surprised. Valve has sent cease and desist letters to CS:GO gambling sites, which I'm surprised even existed. But then on the other hand, I'm not surprised.
But we have fantasy football, so.
Which is just, I'm just trying
Yeah.
to think. Fantasy
You're playing
football for
Pokemon Go?
CS:GO.
That's dorky. Who's on my fantasy football team?
Yeah, I heard Total Biscuit actually said that fantasy football is D&D for sports.
Yeah, it's D&D for
Nerds.
jocks.
Yeah.
That's always been.
But they send cease and desist
And still
letters
doesn't make sense.
to CS:GO gambling sites, which
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, wow.
Yeah, stop gambling on our game.
13-year-old
Which
kids
they're
trying to-
completely, they have the rights to do that. Like, good, you send those cease and desist letters. Which I'm trying to wrap my head around this, that there's gambling sites for CS:GO.
Pretty much, if it can be done, people can gamble on it.
I wonder
I
if
mean,
there's
that's-
gambling sites for Overwatch.
And so the
Probably a
Xbox,
gambling site for us. I don't know. Oh, Rachel wasn't here. I win. You know,
So Xbox One S release date has finally been revealed.
Yep.
And in a few short weeks, actually, kind of like days, actually. Microsoft has revealed
Yep.
that the 2 terabyte version of the Xbox One S will be hitting shelves on August 2nd. Seconds, that's what I said. August 2nd for $399. And that's without tax.
it's not bad for the 2 terabyte. I mean, it's a little. It's
No,
they're
it's
still
not
the
bad.
much
It's
cheaper.
really not bad.
500 gig, but they were a little misleading when they first did it. They were like, "We're gonna have a 2 terabyte model, and it's gonna start at $249." And everyone's like, "Holy crap, I'm gonna get that!" And that's when we found out later. Oh, 2 terabytes, 400.
Yeah.
They did
No.
also leak out a collector's edition. The first one announced for that. There is a Gears of War Xbox S coming out.
Huh.
Kind of neat
Here's
looking.
some interesting. This is also video game news. It's related to Final Fantasy 15. Square Enix has announced a contest that if you pre-ordered it through the site, which you and I did,
Oh, yeah.
you can go on there every Friday and do a little drawing thing to be entered in to win cool prizes, including DLC, the cool Final Fantasy 15 clothing line items. You could also win that car that they built. That is the
I'd
grand
be happy
prize.
if they just paid for my game because
That is the grand prize, and you can win other things like custom consoles, like a custom.
They should let
Final
like people that
Fantasy
got the
15
collector's
Xbox
editions
One.
enter like twice or something. You know, like,
Well-
we're paying a lot more.
Yeah, I think they didn't say anything about levels, but that's just the cool little thing there. And they also released some more gameplay images. It's called Carbuncle Surprise, and one of them is one of the DLC items is a skin for the car that features Cindy. Which is just total fan service, so not surprised with Square anymore.
Watch that be the one I want to be like.
It's Japan.
I'm still kind of salty that
Your wife's gonna
we
be like,
spent
"What are you
all this
doing?"
money on the collector's edition and we're not getting that cool little extra game, and everyone's like, well, and then I said, someone I commented on that. I'm like, I don't think it's fair because normally a collector's edition gets everything, and
Yeah.
then the other ones get other little things, and it's like that's not normal to be done. So I think at some point they might include it as a free thing for an update, or they might say, okay, collector's editions people get this, or it might be a surprise. I don't know.
Yeah, because I mean,
But it's weird to just have it just at GameStop.
because we're like, we can get Final Fantasy 15, or we can get the 1 terabyte version of an Xbox One S. That's cheaper option. So
well, actually, no, it's not.
it's right about.
No,
It's pretty close.
No, it's not actually.
That's
It's not. It's right at like $300 for the collector's edition of 15, if I remember correctly.
yeah, and the 1 terabyte's like $279. So yeah, the
That's true.
Xbox One is the cheaper edition.
For
Is what I'm
one
saying.
tier,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that I got a discount, but I got a discount on mine. But
Wow.
thank you, friends.
All right.
All right. So, have you guys used Vine
Nope.
recently?
I never used it.
Never.
Nope. The only person I ever watched Vines of was Thomas Sanders, and that's just because he does story time.
In 6 seconds?
He does
Stories in 6 seconds?
Yeah. And then he does the the weird. I'll have to show it to you. But he's up for a Kids' Choice Award or something.
Oh.
So
Well, you're not alone. So, once Vine was the hottest thing around, now at least 9 business leaders have left the service, and that brought us
don't say it.
I'm not saying
Don't
that.
say it.
It's struggling to keep people
No!
Take it, Jeremy.
Because it's just even weirder coming out of me.
It is.
It's struggling to keep people interested, and the technology circle of life will continue. Basically, Vine users are kind of leaving Vine. They're going over to Snapchat.
Mm-hmm.
You
Now it's
can
gonna be
basically
Vine
see
Go.
the graph.
Yeah.
The graph is
Yeah.
kind of like
The-
splitting,
yeah.
and then
It
it's
is.
like
Remember when Twitter was a thing and then wasn't a thing and now it's back being a thing?
Yeah.
There's a circle of life, and sometimes things resurrect.
See,
MySpace
Vine is
tried.
evolving. Vine has evolved into Bubble Burst. It's dead.
Yeah.
died.
MySpace tried to come back. MySpace failed.
Yeah, tried.
It was not effective.
No, it's not effective.
Not very effective.
MySpace tried
the
Justin
Emmys,
Timberlake.
Here's
It
a
was not
cool thing.
effective.
I like this. The Emmys are recognizing online videos with this year's nominees, including epic rap battles of history and honest trailers. So that's
There's
just a
some-
few
yeah.
that are up for awards.
There's
which
some
I'm like,
actually
cool.
other internet-based shows. I'm just going to say shows that are
Mm-hmm.
actually up for nominations. I think this is pretty cool because there are, let's say, quote, professional studios. I mean, they technically are, but then again, they're not like Hollywood professional stuff.
Well, I mean,
But
they've gotten like
they're getting
major
nominated
actors. They've
for
got
things,
Snoop
so-
Dogg. They've done.
The Rock's on YouTube
yeah.
now.
Well, I mean, I'm just talking about epic rap battles. Like all these people are just in this one thing. Like,
Yeah.
Snoop Dogg's been on there. They've had a lot of other like little rappers and different musicians and art actors on there. So yeah, Key and Peele are some of my favorite episodes.
They had
Well, they did.
Oh, that's
They
the
did
Mythical
Gandhi
Morning
and
Good
people,
Mythical.
right?
No. Those
No,
are
that's
different.
Key and Peele,
They-
right?
No, it's
No,
not,
no,
not Key and Peele. Good Mythical Morning is different people.
yeah. I'm just
But-
saying Key and Peele were on epic rap battles. Some
Yeah.
of their favorite episodes were.
But they all know each other.
Oh yeah. I mean, seriously, they're all in the same area of California.
Yeah, see, here's the thing. Like, I think half of everyone on YouTube that is actually successful lives
That's
in
because they moved
California.
there.
They moved to
Yeah.
California
They
so
moved
they
there.
could all do stuff together.
Yep.
Except Felix, which is PewDiePie. He still lives
He
in
doesn't
Sweden.
need anybody.
Actually, he moved to California for a while.
He goes there often because he has a lot of money, but I think he's still in Sweden.
He goes around.
Yeah.
All right. So
Robots.
yes, there's now a cattle herding robot.
And a robot dog called Newhound. It was built at Hosada Laboratory at Osaka University, and
Oh, we're
it's
jumping
much
ahead to that
smaller
one?
than
Yeah.
other robot dogs like Boston Dynamics Spot Mini.
Yep.
So there's another robot. I wanted to rope that together because they're robots, and I'm not sure why there was a thing in between it.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, they keep the dogs and the cattle away from each other. They're different breeds of dogs. One of them is made for cattle herding, probably built like a motorcycle. The other one is a robot dog,
Actually, it has
probably built like a dog.
Yeah.
4 legs and a camera or something like that. It's like
Seriously, it actually runs. I put that sucker on fast treads.
well,
and just
no,
let it
it has wheels. I don't know really how it wheels through grass.
And yeah, that's
It
weird.
does. So
And Caleb, tell us about this Vegas Strip cell phone gambling.
So yeah, I was at Vegas not too long ago actually, and apparently they have this new cell phone gambling thing while you're in Vegas. Basically, MGM Resorts on Wednesday unveiled that it's it's going to use like real money mobile tournament gambling platforming, something like that, so you can sit in the jacuzzi and play gambling games on your phone.
Get this.
It's kinda
It
interesting.
enables gamblers who
Mhm.
are 21 and older,
Yep.
who are connected to the Wi-Fi network at an MGM owned hotel in Las
which
Vegas.
they own half the strip, so
They can do gambling on the phone instead of going downstairs to the slots. Which, that to me ruins it a little bit because that's all part of it. Like, I mean, I've been to Biloxi a few times in my life, and it's fun to do the little
I'm gonna
things.
ask, do you like cigarette smoke?
No, that's why.
But then
I
you
go,
want this out
well,
because
no,
that
no, no,
whole
no, no, no.
lobby is filled with cigarette smoke.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. There's non-smoking sections of
You
casinos.
still no.
You
I
must
was
have
there-
a super sniffer.
No, I was
gets
there.
around.
Every casino you walk through, even if it says
Then go to-
non-smoking, still smells like
Okay.
cigarette smoke.
Then here gamble in Biloxi if you're going to gamble because
No, I don't want to get.
the smoking floor is a whole other floor. There's a whole other floor for the gamblers who smoke. That's all I'm saying. There's a yeah.
I'm
in
saying-
Vegas,
I
they
think-
just
I think
have it
In
all
Vegas,
together.
they just don't care.
I think
They
if
put 'em
you're
on the
like
same
a
floor.
non-smoker, I think that's a pretty cool app.
And
So-
we'll let Jeremy take this.
Yes, because I'm probably the only one here that still knows how to use one.
Yes, no, I was alive when there was one of these.
I know,
things.
right? I know
At
what
the
I know
death
what
of
these
it.
are.
Well, we thought the death. It's
No,
still.
No.
I had one of these items until I was probably.
We have a whole
15.
bookshelf full of the things.
I remember
yeah.
when it actually came out.
Yeah,
So-
I still have my tapes.
Yep. So
Yeah.
it's the end of an era. Japan is making the last VCR. Funai Electric is still producing the VCR, which will be ending in August. They used to sell 15 million of these a year. Last year, only sold 750,000, which is still surprisingly
Like
large.
I
Yeah,
wonder who
like-
buys them.
Well, apparently there is still a very large and growing aftermarket for VHS tapes. Like I'm gonna start
Actually-
going through because I've got like some old collector
Oh,
sets
me
one
too.
and
Actually,
sell some. But
Yeah.
interesting. Hold on, I'm just going to pause
Okay.
right there. Interesting. In the,
All right,
closet,
Kanye.
we still have a bunch of we still have a bunch of
I have-
anime tapes.
Oh my god! Yes,
The whole
yes.
box in there.
That's the reason to
Remember
get it. One of these days, we need to have like a movie marathon on VHS in
We're
the
gonna
weekend
have to.
and like raid the collection that's in that closet.
I said we have a VCR somewhere in this building that has HDMI output,
Oh
wait,
my
I don't have
goodness.
so
access.
we can actually get digital.
That's
Actually,
that's nutty.
Jeremy, next show you can use your badge and get in there. You can decorate the table with some of them.
Don't know what you're talking about. But fun fact: the Star Wars box set today is still the highest rated VHS bought. People are still buying that the most.
There are
It's on Blu-ray, people.
there
But it's
are
the crappy version, but it's on Blu-ray.
there are some like hobby shops out there that for example, Netflix's series Stranger Things just came out, which is like it's the music is something out of Twin Peaks. It's like Stephen King made a bunch of made a
It's
movie.
the 80s.
It's the 80s.
It's the 80s.
It's the 80s with Stephen King and Twin Peaks. That's
Which
what it
is all 80s.
Which is it, yeah. So that's what
And
it is, and it's very good. It has Winona Ryder in it, who is wonderful, and I love her.
I haven't started it yet.
This isn't her comeback though, but she's very good in it.
No, she
but
stole that.
People have made edits of it on YouTube with the weird VHS tracking and static of the trailers. I saw on Facebook that someone had made a VHS case for it with all the scuffed up stuff, and it's just it to me. I'm like, that's kind of cool. That's
Yeah.
kind of cool for that sort of thing. So I actually still have my VHS of Beetlejuice somewhere around my house.
I need to convert all my VHS tapes to digital. I have a lot of
I have
them.
I have a bunch of Disney ones.
All right.
Well, that'll be it here for today's show. Now comes everybody's favorite part where we talk about all our social media stuff and things. You can find me at Nerd Edification. That's on Twitter. And then you can also find the Nerd Edification Hour Facebook page. Just look up Nerd Edification Hour. And then the YouTube channel, which this show gets uploaded to, is Strangely Entertaining, capital S, capital E. If you can't find it, just look for the Nerd Edification Hour. And Twitch is also Strangely Entertaining. That one you can actually find me pretty well.
Yep. You can find me on Twitch at Outrageous. That's OUTRACHEOUS. And you can also find me on Twitter at the same handle. And you can also find me on another podcast, which I do on a weekly basis, which is Pirates of the Magic Kingdom. And is a Disney podcast.
And you can find me at Zenspath on Twitter, and as well as twitch.tv/Zenspath. I also do the Zenspath podcast and a couple other shows as well. And a fun little bonus story, apparently a man was just arrested for sending death threats to Blizzard, including saying he was going to show up with an
What a way to
AK-47.
end the show, Jeremy.
Yeah,
what
just
a
saying.
way.
Apparently not everyone liked the updates for Overwatch or World of
Why?
Warcraft.
What happened?
They didn't like that Halo
More about it
sniper.
next week.
Yeah. We'll get back to you on that.
Yeah.
I had to read this story. With
Okay.
All right.
hating on Anna.
That's it.
Until next week.
Stay fancy.
Bye.
Peace.